Hey everyone. As middle school ELA teachers, we're always like trying to figure out how to make our classrooms really hum, how
Yeah,
to get our students to like really engage with what we're teaching.
right.
We want them digging deep, thinking critically, really analyzing those complex texts,
Absolutely.
expressing themselves in powerful ways.
Yeah, it's tall order, right?
It is a tall order, and sometimes I think the answer is in this idea of productive struggle.
Woo. I like that. Productive struggle. It's like this buzzword we hear all the time, but
Right.
what does it really look like in the ELA classroom?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to unpack that today in our deep dive into productive struggle.
Yeah,
What it is, why it matters, and how we can actually make it happen in our classrooms.
I love it. Let's dive in.
Okay, so first things first, what exactly is productive struggle?
Well, it's definitely not about making things unnecessarily difficult or piling on tons of work just to make kids sweat.
Right. It's not about busy work.
No. It's about creating an environment where students feel challenged but supported.
Okay, I like that. Challenged, but supported.
Yeah. They need to be able to wrestle with ideas and concepts, grapple with them,
Hmm.
but without being afraid to make mistakes.
It's like finding that sweet spot, right?
Exactly. It's that zone educators call the zone of proximal development.
Ooh,
All
fancy.
right.
So remind me what that is again?
It's basically that space where students are ready to learn something new,
Okay.
but they still need some scaffolding, some guidance to get there.
So it's about pushing them just beyond their comfort zone,
Exactly.
but making sure they have the support they need to succeed.
You got it. That's where the magic happens.
Okay, so we've talked about what it is, but why is productive struggle so important?
Well, think about it. If we only ever give our students work they can already do easily,
Yeah,
are they really growing? Are they stretching their brains?
probably not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not building those essential brain
This
highways.
is where the neuroscience comes in, right?
It every time a student struggles productively with a concept, they're actually strengthening neural pathways in their brain.
Whoa, really?
Oh,
Like literally building their brains.
literally. It's amazing there's this substance called myelin.
Myelin.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
like insulation for those neural pathways.
Okay.
And when a student struggles and learns something new, it's like paving a road.
Ooh, I love that analogy.
Right. More myelin, smoother road, stronger connection.
So the more they grapple with a concept, the easier it becomes to access and understand it later on.
Exactly. And that translates to deeper learning, stronger skills, and ultimately greater success in ELA and beyond.
Okay, I'm sold on the why. But how do we actually connect this idea of productive struggle to the idea of rigor in our ELA classrooms?
That's the key question, right?
Because we hear about rigor all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
And we often think of rigor as just making things harder,
Yeah, longer readings, more complex texts.
more assignments.
Right. But it's not just about that, is it?
No, not at all. True rigor is about what students do with the material.
How they engage with it.
Exactly.
So it's about the process, not just the product.
You got it. And it's not necessarily about tackling the most difficult text either. Remember that story about David Foster Wallace's college syllabus?
Oh yeah, he assigned like Infinite Jest and Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the same class.
Exactly. And he had students doing these deep analytical tasks with both.
So it's not about what you teach, it's about how students engage with it,
Precisely. It's about pushing them to think critically,
to make connections.
to go beyond surface level understanding.
And that's where productive struggle comes in.
Exactly. It's the key to unlocking that deeper level of engagement and helping students reach their full potential.
Okay, so I'm convinced I'm all in on the why of productive struggle. But how do we actually make this happen in our classrooms? What are some practical strategies we can use to encourage this kind of struggle?
Well, one of the simplest yet most powerful techniques is something called wait time.
Wait time. Okay, so like just being quiet after you ask a question.
Basically, yeah. But you'd be surprised how little wait time most teachers actually give. Yeah. Studies show most teachers wait less than 1 second after asking a question.
Whoa, less than a second.
Yep. Before either jumping in with the answer themselves or calling on another student.
I can definitely see myself doing that. Like I'm so eager to fill the silence.
Right. It's totally natural. But that super short wait time doesn't really give students enough time to process,
Yeah.
to really think about the question, to try to formulate a response,
Right.
to make those connections in their brains.
It's like we're cutting off those brain highways before they even have a chance to form.
Exactly. The key is to give them more time. Like, aim for 5 to 15 seconds of wait time.
5 to 15 seconds.
At least for those recall questions.
Mhm.
You know, the ones that are just asking for basic facts or information.
Okay.
And then even longer wait times for questions that require deeper thinking and analysis.
So those questions where they really have to grapple with the material.
Exactly. That's where the real magic happens.
Right. So just by pausing, by giving them that space, we're actually encouraging them to struggle productively.
Exactly. We're giving them the opportunity to wrestle with the material, to make connections, and to try to arrive at the answer or at least a thoughtful response
On their own.
on their own without us jumping in and rescuing them.
I like that. It sounds so simple, but so powerful.
It really is. And you know, it actually connects to another important concept.
What's that?
Scaffolding.
Oh, yeah, scaffolding.
Right.
Because we're talking about the zone of proximal development.
That's it. And remember, that's all about providing the right level of support.
To help our students learn and grow.
You got it. So scaffolding is a huge part of that.
So how do we actually do that? Like, how do we scaffold effectively when we're trying to encourage productive struggle?
Well, it's all about gradually decreasing the amount of support we give as students become more comfortable with the concept.
So like starting with more support and then slowly pulling back as they gain mastery.
That's the idea. Think about teaching argumentative writing, for example. We might start by giving students sentence frames.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
Right, or graphic organizers to help them structure their ideas.
Especially in those early stages.
Right. Those tools can be really helpful in the beginning, but then as they get more comfortable,
Yeah.
we can start to pull back that support.
Okay.
We might move from sentence frames to paragraph structures, and then eventually to having them write the whole essay independently.
It's like we're taking off the training wheels bit by bit.
That's a great way to put it. We're giving them more and more responsibility.
As they gain confidence and skill.
Exactly. And it's the same principle with wait time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. We might start with shorter wait times at first, and then gradually increase those wait times as students get used to that expectation.
The expectation of really thinking and responding on their own.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's not just about the strategies themselves, it's about how we implement them.
Right. It's about being intentional and thoughtful.
And about meeting our students where they're at. This is making me rethink my whole approach to questioning and feedback.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting the right answer.
That's so important to remember.
It's about guiding students through the process of arriving at the answer.
Yes. And it's not just about academics either.
What do you mean?
Productive struggle. It helps build resilience,
Oh, yeah.
critical thinking skills, a growth mindset.
Those are like essential life skills.
Exactly. When students learn to embrace challenge, they become more confident, more independent learners.
Yeah, they're better equipped to face any obstacle that comes their way.
You got it.
So it sounds like productive struggle. It's not just good for our ELA classrooms. It's good for our students as human beings.
Absolutely. I truly believe that.
Okay, so we've talked about the what and the why. Now I want to get into the how a little bit more.
Sure.
Because I can already hear some of my students in my head
Oh, yeah.
saying things like, this is too hard, I don't get it.
Just tell me the answer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do we shift that mindset? How do we help our students see struggle?
As a good thing.
Yeah. Not as a sign of weakness,
Yeah.
but as a necessary part of learning and growing.
That's where we as teachers come in. We need to be explicit about it.
Explicit?
Yeah, we need to actually teach them about the brain science.
Like about myelin and those neural pathways?
Exactly. We can explain that when they're struggling, when they're making mistakes, that's not a sign of failure.
Okay.
It's a sign that their brains are growing and making new connections.
So we're giving them a behind-the-scenes look at how their brains work.
Exactly. And we're helping them reframe that idea of struggle.
From something negative to something positive.
Exactly.
I love that. So it's not just about telling them to struggle, it's about explaining why it's important.
Right. And we need to model that growth mindset ourselves.
That's so important.
Be open about our own struggles.
Yeah.
Show them that it's okay to not know everything.
Right, to make mistakes, to ask for help.
Exactly. We want to
Yeah.
normalize not knowing.
Yeah, and create that safe space for exploration and experimentation, where it's okay to try things out, to take risks,
And to maybe even fail sometimes.
because that's how we learn.
Exactly.
So it sounds like it's really about creating a classroom culture where questions are welcomed,
Yes.
mistakes are seen as opportunities,
Absolutely.
and effort is celebrated.
You got it.
And speaking of support, I want to give a quick shout out to Halo Rogers,
Oh, yes. Halo is amazing.
our incredible MS ELA instructional support teacher.
She's a wealth of knowledge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if any of our listeners out there have questions about this stuff, about how to actually make this happen in their classrooms,
Yes.
reach out to Halo. She is the person to talk to.
She's a fantastic resource.
She is. And she is a champion for productive struggle in the ELA classroom.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with a question to ponder.
Ooh, a question. Lay it on me.
So how can we as ELA teachers create more opportunities for productive struggle in our classrooms?
Oh, that's good.
How can we help our students, really embrace the challenge and the messiness of learning?
Right.
Knowing that, those are the things that actually lead to true understanding.
It's a great question. And honestly, I think the answer is going to look different for every teacher,
Yeah,
every class, from every group of students.
absolutely.
But for me, the key takeaway is that we have to be intentional about creating those opportunities for struggle
Yes.
and then providing the right support so that it's productive,
Yeah.
you know?
Not just frustrating.
Not just throwing them in the deep end and saying sink or swim.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance.
Balance. That seems to be the theme of today's deep dive.
It really is. And another important thing to remember is that we have to embrace productive struggle ourselves.
As teachers,
As teachers, yeah.
if we're not willing to step outside our comfort zones to try new things, to maybe even stumble a bit along the way, you know,
right.
we can't really expect our students to do it either.
I completely agree. Our willingness to embrace our own growth and learning journey,
Yeah.
that can be one of the most powerful lessons we teach.
So true. Well, I think we've given our fellow ELA teachers a lot to chew on today.
We have.
It's been an amazing conversation, and I personally feel like I have a whole new perspective on how to approach rigor and challenge in my classroom.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's not about making things easier.
Right.
It's about giving students the tools and the support they need.
To navigate those challenges and come out stronger on the other side.
Exactly. To become more confident, more resilient, more capable learners.
So to all of our middle school ELA teachers out there listening,
Yeah.
embrace the challenge, trust the process,
Mm.
and remember, you don't have to do it alone.
You've got this.
If you're feeling stuck, if you have questions,
Reach out.
reach out to Halo Rogers.
Yes, Halo's the best.
Our amazing ELA instructional support teacher. She is a wealth of knowledge, and she is passionate about helping teachers create classrooms where productive struggle can thrive.
Absolutely. So on that note, happy teaching, everyone.